In the demo, we'll use our existing VPC, AWS Foundation VPC. We'll create 5 subnets in 3 different AZs. We'll launch instances only in 3 subnets. We'll create an EFS file system and we'll create 3 mount targets in 3 different AZs. We'll control the access using both security groups and NACLs. We'll mount the EFS file system using DNS name in INST A, mount target DNS name in INST B, and mount target IP address in INST C. We'll modify something in the file system from INST A and check whether the modification is visible from other instances. I have created 5 subnets in 3 different AZs in our VPC, AWS Foundation VPC. If you see, private 1B1 and 1B2 belong to AZ US East 1B. Private 1A1 and 1A2 subnets belong to US East 1A AZ, and private 1C1 subnet belongs to AZ US East 1C. I have also launched 3 EC2 instances in the private subnets, private 1A1, 1B1 and 1C1, and I have created a Bastion host. This is needed to log into all the other EC2 instances which you have created. Before proceeding further, let me show you the architecture which you are going to use for this demo. We have 3 AZs, US East 1A, US East 1B and US East 1C. These are the private subnets which we have created in each of the AZs. US East 1A has 2 private subnets, US East 1B has another 2 private subnets, but US East 1C has only 1 private subnet. Each AZ has public subnets also. These green boxes are public subnets. We have launched 1 EC2 instance in this subnet, another EC2 instance in this subnet, and the third EC2 instance in this subnet. And we have a Bastion host here which can be used to connect to all the EC2 instances, or basically SSH into all the EC2 instances from this Bastion host. This entire black box is the VPC, which is our AWS Foundation VPC. We'll create an EFS file system in the same VPC, and then we'll have to create mount targets. So while creating mount targets, we'll use these private subnets to create the mount targets. So in AZ1A, I'll create mount target in private subnet 1A2. In AZ1B, I'll create mount target on private 1B2. And in AZ1C, I'll create mount target in the same private subnet where my EC2 instance is residing. The reason for creating this kind of architecture is because I want to show you that you do not necessarily have to create mount targets in the subnets where your EC2 instances reside. As long as you create mount targets in the same AZ as that of the EC2 instances, you are fine. So here, all the 3 mount targets belong to the AZs wherein we have launched our EC2 instances. All the EC2 instances would use this mount target to connect to this EFS file system. Something like this. The EC2 instances would use the mount target to connect to the EFS file system wherein we will store our files. To create a file system, click on Create File System. You'll have to select a VPC. I'll select our own VPC, which is AWS Foundation VPC. And here it is asking us to create mount targets. Which subnets the mount target should be created in? Let us go ahead and select the subnets for mount targets. We want to create mount targets in private 1A2, private 1B2 and private 1C1 subnets. Let's go ahead and select those. In US East 1A, I'll select private 1A2. In US East 1B, I'll select private 1B2. And US East 1C, I'll select private 1C1. This is where my mount target should be created. And security groups, as of now, I'll select the default security group. We'll change it shortly. Click on Next Step and then give it a name. So the tag would be AWS Foundation EFS. Now there are 2 performance modes, general purpose and max IO. Most of your workload performance would be solved by general purpose IO mode. Max IO would be needed if you have thousands or hundreds of EC2 instances accessing the same EFS file system. So if you are running more than 50, 60 or 100 EC2 instances which are connecting to the same EFS file system, then you should use max IO. Otherwise, general purpose performance mode would solve most of your IO performances. You can enable encryption also. This is also encryption at rest. Either you select a default KMS or KMS created by us. This is the CMK which we created before our S3 session. We can use the same CMK to encrypt data in EFS file system. or you can disable encryption. As of now, I will disable, but you know that you can enable encryption while creating EFS file systems, and this encryption is actually encryption at rest. Click on next step. In the VPC, we are using only 3 AZs and 3 subnets from 3 AZs. The mount targets would be created in these subnets. The tag would be AWS Foundation EFS. Performance mode is general purpose, and we have chosen not to encrypt our file system. Click on create file system. Our file system has been created. This is the name and this is the file system ID. Currently the size is only 6 kilobyte. There are 3 mount targets, and you can see additional information also. Who's the owner? What is the performance and encryption mode? If you want to access this file system, what DNS name should we use? In this slide, I told you how to mount your file system. You can use file system DNS name or mount target DNS name or mount target's IP address. This DNS name is actually the file system DNS name. The mount targets are still getting created. These are the mount target IDs and these are the IP addresses of the mount targets. If you see, the IP addresses has been chosen from the network address of our subnets, and these are the network interface IDs. So mount targets are nothing but network interface IDs. Few other things which you can do with this file system. Click on actions. You can see that you can manage file system access, you can manage tags and delete file system. If you want to change the mount target at any point in time, you'll have to click on manage file system access, and then you can remove or add mount targets as needed. Our next step is to modify security groups and network ACLs. Let us go ahead and do that while the mount targets are being created. These are the requests and responses for NACL firewall rules. This is a private subnet where EC2 instances are residing, and this is the private subnet where mount targets are residing. This is the request out to and response in from mount target subnets on NFS port 2049. For mount target subnets, this is the request in from and response out to EC2 instance subnets on port 2049. We also have a SSH request in and response out from the public subnet where my bastion host is residing. This one and this one should be in the inbound rules of this private subnet, and this response and this request should be in the outbound rule of this private subnet. This is the NACL for private subnets of EC2 instances. In inbound rule, I have SSH coming in from the bastion host subnet and responses from mount target subnets. And in the outbound rules, I have response out to the subnet of the bastion host and NFS request outs to the mount target subnets. This NACL is associated with private 1A1, private 1C1 and private 1B1. This is the NACL for mount target subnets. For inbound rules, we have request coming in on port number 2049, which is the NFS port, from all the subnets of EC2 instances. And in the outbound rule, we have corresponding response out. And this NACL is associated with private 1A2 and private 1B2, where our mount targets are. I have one more mount target in private 1C1 subnet. The rules for those subnets is covered in this NACL, which is associated with private 1C1 subnet also. For security groups, it's pretty simple because we'll just have to bother about the requests. We have requests coming in from the bastion host subnet on SSH port. We have request out from this EC2 private subnets to the mount target subnets on port 2049. And finally, we have request in from EC2 instance subnets to mount target private subnets on port number 2049. This is the security group for mount target ENIs or elastic network interfaces. We have requests coming in from all the private subnets. In outbound rule, there is nothing. I have not created any security groups for the EC2 instances. If you want, you can go ahead and do that, but I'm using the default security group. This should not make a difference because I already have NACL in place. If you want, you can add security groups also. Notice the aberration here. Instead of using port range from 1024 to 65535, I'm using 100 to 65535. This is for NFS reasons. NFS uses, I think, port number 111 or port number 112 for its responses. Be safe, just add the range from 100 to 65535. Response for SSH is still using 1024.265.535. In the other NACL also, which is for the mount target subnets, the same range is being used, 100 to 65535 instead of 1024 to 65535. After creating NACL and security group, let me go ahead and change the security group for this EFS file system. Go to the EFS screen and click on Manage File System Access. Here, you can remove these security groups and add the security group which you have just created, that is EFS security group. Then click on Save. So security groups for mount targets have been changed. Let us go ahead and mount this EFS file system to all the EC2 instances. If you want, you can get the mount instructions from here. Click on this and it will tell you what utilities to install. For Amazon Linux, Red Hat and SUSE Linux, you'll have to install NFS utils. And for Ubuntu or Debian based Linux, you'll have to use apt-get install NFS common. And then you'll have to create a file system. And finally, use this command to mount the EFS file system in your EC2 instances. I'm in private 1A1 EC2 instance. I'll have to install NFS utils, which is the NFS client I was talking about. I'm using NAT gateway to connect to internet and install the utility. I'm in the Bastion host. I've copied the private key file in the Bastion host. Now I'm logging in to the first EC2 instance, which is private 1A1. I have created a directory named EFS-demo. I'll mount the EFS file system with this directory. So basically I'm mapping the EFS file system with this directory, which I have just now created. If you type df-h, you'll see that the file system has been mounted. Let me go ahead and create a demo file inside of this file system. Before that, I'll have to change the permission of the file system. Type this command. And the owner of the file system has been changed. I'm creating a very basic file. This file, first_file, has essentially been written in EFS now. When I mount the EFS file system in other EC2 instances, I should be able to see this file from those EC2 instances as well. From the Bastion host, I have logged into the second EC2 instance, which is private 1B1. I'll mount the EFS file system here as well, but this time around, I'll not use the DNS name, I'll use the mount target IP. If I'm using mount target IP, I'll have to use the IP address from the same AZ. So my EC2 instance is in a private subnet, which is an AZ US East 1B. And this is the mount target IP address in that AZ. So I'll have to use this IP address to mount this EFS file system in private 1B1 EC2 instance. I have created this directory and I have changed the owner of this directory. I've used this command. See here, instead of using the DNS name, I have used the IP address of the mount target in the same AZ. If I type ds.h, I should see that the EFS file system or the mount target has been mounted in this directory. Let me go ahead and see what is there. So this is the file which you created from the first EC2 instance. Let me go ahead and see if it contains the same contents. So if you see, I can see the file. This file was created from EC2 instance private 1A1. Once I mounted the EFS file system in this EC2 instance, I could see the exact same file with the exact same content from this EC2 instance also. I have modified this file to add this line, modified from EC2 instance private 1B1. Now I'll go ahead and mount this file system in the third EC2 instance, private 1C1, and I should be able to see this modification from there as well. I'm in the third EC2 instance now, which is private 1C1. NFS utils is already installed here. I have created this directory and changed its owner. Now I'll mount this directory with EFS file system. This time I'm using the DNS name instead of mount target IP. Type df-h. If you see, the file system has been mounted. I can see the exact same first_file and modifications from all the other EC2 instances are visible here as well. This is how you use EFS from multiple EC2 instances concurrently.